back after a very long time. Having some technical difficulties, my friend. That's why there has been a delay for the Christmas 2018 one versus one tournament grand finals cast for Zaar versus Deepdfantasy. But I've sorted it out somehow. This tournament was recently played in December, late December 2018, organized by GameReplays.org, aka Red3.org. If the first round of 7 matches are won by Deepdfantasy, he'll have to play these games once again, and he has to win another round of 7 because he came through to the losers bracket. Let's start the match. We have on the right hand side Deepdfantasy as Soviets, and on the left hand side we have Zaar. Zaar is Empire and Deepdfantasy is Soviets. I'm just going to forward it a bit. We are seeing the situation. Zaar has captured both oil derricks. Deepdfantasy has gone for a single barracks opening and then transition into a fast war factory. He is trying to contest his sickle versus some Imperial warriors, and Zaar in the meanwhile has settled into 2 refineries built and is going for Mecha-Tengu's. MCV on the move right now, and Mecha-Tengu is challenging that ore collector. Zaar knows that he can destroy this bullfrog, and this bullfrog destroying it would be very beneficial for him, so he sniped it out. A bear sickles in the base of Zaar, but it has been sniped, and Deepdfantasy gone for a refinery positioning, and he's trying to capture his side of the oil derrick, but he has cancelled the production. Mecha-Tengu flying in the air. Now in this tournament somehow Zaar has beaten some big players. Even Deepdfantasy he has beaten, coming on to the through to the grand finals from the winner circle, and he has beaten Windies, he has beaten Yui, he has beaten Deepdfantasy, all super pros. And Deepdfantasy's in the real bracket faced Demon in the losers bracket. He beat him 2-0. So this is a very good game. Not like it was a fluke that both these players made it to the grand finals. PX out on the battlefield for Zaar. Mecha-Tengu sniping that terror drone. They know, Zaar knows and understands that these terror drones are going to be a nuisance for him because he is reliant on harassing. But one technical thing that I have noticed in this game is that Zaar hasn't brought his MCV to this area, to this position. The reason I don't know, maybe he is trying to, he doesn't want to wall spam this area. Since the inception of this game, and especially 1.12 patch, Empire players usually brought their MCVs over here, went for tier 3, but now the game has changed somewhat. They are using infantry more and more, even though with the scare on Bear, G micro used by the Dojo Core from Zaar, and hammer tanks contesting that ore collector, the exact position which I was talking about. He has stole one of the bullfrog weapon by Leech Beam microing Deepdfantasy, and another bullfrog into the mix right now. trying to attack that collector with Mecha Tengu, but somehow Deepdfantasy has taken it out using the terror drone, just opening the wall segments. And Zaar is understands he has made a dojo core specifically for that reason, for those hammer tanks, and continuously he has gone for a 4th refinery as well without any dog score. Zaar can easily relax and he can just play out these matches, experiment which method might be best suited versus Deepdfantasy, because Deepdfantasy is fresh from a win versus Demon and he is on high confidence. He knows that he has another chance even if he loses this first set of best of 7. He's just he has captured both oil derricks somehow, Deepdfantasy, using the bullfrog jump micro. Yes, eject passengers, I called it jump micro, and going for that orbital drop, sniping that barracks, understanding and knowing the importance of it, because Zaar is going to be focused more on these type of infantry units rather than going tier 3. Dojo core going forward. Yes, placing it in a very safer position. He knows that those hammer tanks and terror drones might be a nuisance, and Deepdfantasy gone for a 4th refinery as well. VX is sniping that oil derrick. Both players are on 4th refineries, but when a Soviet player is on 4 refineries versus Empire players on 4 refineries, and Empire player is not on tier 3, it becomes very difficult for the Empire players to contest in the match, especially if his 3rd refinery is contested over and over again, and Deepdfantasy is not on airfield at the moment. This collector has been sniped for the 3rd time in this match. Finally, some tank busters from Zaar. Zaar is a very good Empire player, a new sensation, and a beacon of hope for people like me especially, and for Bashley, people like Bashley and me. And I was misspelling his name, Bashley's name, with Banshee, because I play in Sea Rivals a lot these days. Now these swarm of tsunami tanks gone for point defense drones. Yes, I remember. But Deepdfantasy has this under control. And what's going on here? A couple of flag troopers. What are you doing, Zaar? Use your core collector to snipe these flag troopers. Send this wall segment. Can do something. They are destroying your power plant. He's too invested in that attack, and he's going to lose a power plant and a refinery. What's happening over here? Not selling that power plant even. Just get that 400 back. Wake up, Zaar. What's happening to you? Focus. Be a bit more active. What is wrong with you, Zaar? And now Tesla troopers and twin blades are out on the battlefield. Once again, a refinery collector has been sniped from a Deepdfantasy, a refinery out on the battlefield for Zaar. That refinery that he lost was just waste of time, and I think the game is over now. It's gone into favor of Deepdfantasy. These twin blades are going to finish off Zaar very easily. He's going to destroy this ore collector, and without anti-air, just one mecha Tengus, 4 twin blades. Orbital drop on the war factory and the twin blades. No mecha Tengus out on the battlefield, so the game is over. Game is over. We jump straight into game number 2 of the grand finals first series. Game is on Cabana Republic, and we see Deepdfantasy taking Soviets, purple Soviets once again. Zaar is Green Empire. I'm just going to forward it a bit. 3 refinery opening from Zaar and 3 dojo core opening. So this is a malicious move from Zaar. And if Deepdfantasy goes for a fast war factory build or a fast, yes, exactly that, he's gone for a naval yard. This is not looking good. Very risky move from Zaar. He has to wall spam up and make sure to place his war factory as deep as possible, mecha bay as deep as possible into the base. What is happening over here is I'm going to restart this match. I'm sorry for that. I had some technical difficulties, my friends, and I'm going to forward it to the point where we last left. Technical difficulties that my FPS dropped somehow, and I'm going to go to that same position once again, where we see the 3 refinery opening as well as the Tesla boat that was already came out on the battlefield. Yes, now we are going to stop. So I'm really sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. I just left in the middle, and Deepdfantasy is we see a bear and this Tesla boat coming, attacking Zaar's base. And Zaar has 2 oil derricks, but he isn't on tier 2 at the moment. Sniping that power plant, sniping that dojo core, somehow sniping it. Moving his dojo core as close as possible to the Tesla boat and trying to snipe that power plant. It's not been sniped as yet. Engineering popping out for Deepdfantasy, trying to capture this war factory, and he's going to get it. Sniping both collectors. twin blades out on the battlefield with 4 refineries. Deepdfantasy. Zaar is desperate to survive this match and he's struggling really a lot. Only thing that is saving him, to be honest, are the 2 oil derricks that is giving him consistent income. Tesla coil out for Deepdfantasy. Capturing oil derrick. Capturing 1 oil derrick. Now he's going to capture the 2nd oil derrick as well. Dojo cores being sniped by those twin blades. Imperial warrior giving problems to Deepdfantasy, but he will fix it using those twin blades. Pressurizing at only production structure from Zaar. Using 1 tsunami tank. Nine tsunami tanks contesting those hammer tanks, but with twin blades I think it's going to be very difficult, to be honest, and especially if he has like 8-9 hammer tanks of his own, he can easily counter it. Zaar is done by. All of his units, the anti-air units, have been sniped. This war factory is his last structure. He has already sold his LCB. Game number 2 goes to Deepdfantasy. Deepdfantasy in this first round of 7 matches, for him especially, in the grand finals, is at 2-0 up in the series. And now we move on to game number 3 immediately. Snowplow. I'm forwarding because it's the same build order. except Deepdfantasy has gone for transitioned into a war factory after two refineries built, both players capturing their oil derricks, and Zaar is coming up with Mecha Tengus. He's not moving his MCV for that third refinery position. Deepdfantasy on the other hand is going for that third refinery position. Trying to snipe this ore collector using that civilian structure. Don't know why there is FPS lag in these matches. I have having problems. I converted my saving to format to my D drive, which is SSD, but still it's happening. I reduced the quality of the stream, but still it's on going to 18 or 17 FPS over and over again, and that's why you see why I am forwarding these some of the parts of this match. But at this moment of time, Deepdfantasy is on 3 refineries, and he has moved his MCV for a 4th refinery position. Deepdfantasy going for map control. For him, that single conscript, that single Imperial warrior is also very important. Like for Zaar, he sniped that conscript with 3 VXs and gone for his 3rd refinery as well. Deepdfantasy is going for his 4th refinery. And a vicious attack coming from Deepdfantasy. Now Zaar has not gone for Dojo Core. If he aims for those power plants, that could be very bad situation for Zaar. He should wall these power plants up, because Deepdfantasy is an experienced Soviet player, especially versus these Empire players. Usually these days Demon is also playing Empire, so he understands that the production of Empire is so fast and rapid when they are on full power. He's going to try to snipe these power plants as soon as possible, trying to slow down the production of Zaar. See, Zaar is on low power and late to react. So game number 3 also is being dominated by Deepdfantasy. Just waiting for that. Guess he's spamming hammer tanks. I thought he will transition into an airfield. Deepdfantasy. But without tank busters, I think it's very difficult to get that orbital drop for Deepdfantasy on that ore collector. Harassing. Very good move from Zaar. What a good display. Well done. Just selling this backward wall segment and moving his bugging his collector out. Very good play from Zaar. Sniping that oil derrick from Deepdfantasy. This map has always been a very good map for Empire because of the maneuverability and the wing areas, just so many attacking options for Empire player. And we saw earlier in the tournament Zaar use those maneuverability of the Empire units versus Deepdfantasy versus Windies, trying desperately to just force Deepdfantasy on that 3 refineries build. I think once his Tesla coil is out, he will be safe. Tesla coil in a very protected area, and Zaar is not one of those players that likes to go for a tier 3. Once again a hammer tank push from Deepdfantasy with lots and lots of bullfrogs protecting those hammer tanks. So many hammer tanks these days. Sniping all of the Mecha Tengus and making sure that keeping Zaar low on anti-air units, because he's planning to go for mass twin blades. Zaar has been beaten in game number 3, so just one game remaining for Deepdfantasy to win the first round, but he won't be winning the tournament. Let me remind you once again. Game number 4 coming right up. Industrial strength, Soviets map, of course, going for a barracks opening. Zaar on the other hand going for dojo cores, placing his dojo core near that oil derrick, and another one over here. He's going to try to spam as many Imperial warriors as possible. He has deployed 3 dojo cores. With the swarm of conscripts and these cheap conscripts, just one barracks and going for that second refinery. Zaar has somewhat of map control, at least in this match, and he knows and understands the importance of these 2 oil derricks. The distance between the war factory, these 2 players is not that much as its industrial strength. Zaar hasn't captured his side of the oil derrick. He's going for an engineer. Placing his second power plant and a war factory. Deepdfantasy is going for directly for airfield. No war factory shenanigans this match. I don't know if this is a good idea. I think Zaar, he feels that Zaar is overcommitted to making lots and lots of infantry units. Maybe that's why he's gone for a third refinery as well. 2 MiG fighters out on the battlefield for Deepdfantasy. And the twin blade. And he's going to try to attack as soon as possible. He doesn't have much time, Deepdfantasy. Especially if a couple of Mecha Tengus are out on the battlefield and the production is quite fast from Zaar. But two MiG fighters, the timing of this attack seems to be very well done from Deepdfantasy, and he has to do a lot of damage now. He has to just damage Zaar's economy as fast as possible using that what do you call it, flag trooper. Two Mecha Tengus can't do nothing versus three MiG fighters, and using that bounty protocol on the ore collector, sniping that collector easily, using that flag trooper finally, and sniping that ore collector. Just going to try to attack these Mecha Tengus, the growing number of Mecha Tengus. A third power plant out on the battlefield for Deepdfantasy. For Zaar, he has forced Zaar to sell his MCV. Deepdfantasy is sitting on the third refinery build and is going for a war factory. One thing that Zaar has in a good thing that Zaar is having, and that is saving him, to be honest, is the two oil derricks, but he has been slowed significantly with that attack from Deepdfantasy. Attacking those oil derricks, and if time goes by, this game is all about time. Deepdfantasy, if somehow he gets those oil derricks, somehow destroys them or captures them, it will be very difficult for Zaar to really contest in this match. He has to win this game to stay alive in the first series. If he loses this match, the game will go into another round of series, and it will bring momentum to Deepdfantasy's chances of winning this tournament. Mecha Tengus flying around, seeing what's happening. Find an opening. A war factory, delayed war factory from Deepdfantasy, protecting his refinery with that sentry gun. Just getting as many as troops, flag troopers and conscripts inside those civilian structures. Trying to attack those collectors. All this game, Deepdfantasy has attacked those collectors, and this time he has attacked it with the protocol. Desolator airstrike. Mecha Tengus are the last surviving units, the last hope for Zaar, and he has lost some of them with for those MiG fighters. VXs and Mecha Tengus. Map control from Deepdfantasy, trying to capture this area, just trying to slow down Zaar, get as much as map control and vision as possible. and hoping, going for a fourth refinery, even fourth and fifth refinery build. So things are not looking good for Zaar. And in the meanwhile, just attacking Zaar. Even if this attack is lost somehow, Deepdfantasy would have like 5 refineries, and with an airfield just over there, can easily get a lot of fourth refinery out on the battlefield for Deepdfantasy. A Tesla coil? No, not yet, but he's producing it. He made sure that he's protected. Desolator airstrike once again from Zaar, and somehow he realizes that look, he has to contest this MCV somehow. He has to attack it. So many flank cannons and so many stuff over there that decided to go back. Making a sentry gun as well. MCV out on the battlefield. He needs those point defense drones. This is looking very bad for Zaar, to be honest. Six bullfrogs just hovering around base of Zaar, and a plethora of tsunami tanks. Sniping it down, sniping that collector down for the third time in this match. So many bullfrogs. Going for the MCV, attacking it with hammer tanks and twin blades. Zaar is hoping that he will just heal his MCV. It has taken the bulk of the attack from Deepdfantasy. Attacking those bullfrogs somehow. Stopping those bullfrogs from coming seems very difficult for Zaar to make a comeback, to be honest. I don't see any hope. So game number 4 also goes to Zaar, Deepdfantasy. No, we are going to the best of 7, that is the final round of 7. If any player wins this, he'll go on to win the tournament. Game number 1 on Battle Base Beta. Zaar has Empire and Deepdfantasy on Soviets. Taking that civilian structure, Zaar. This is a must-win series for Deepdfantasy if he has to win this tournament. For both players, it's a must-win situation. But he has seen his build order. It is like once again airfield build order from Deepdfantasy, and this time a turret, a Defender VX turret is out on the battlefield for Zaar. But there is a difference. Both oil derricks are with Zaar once again in this match. Third refinery is being produced by Deepdfantasy. One thing I have noticed though, that in this match the difference is from the industrial strength game is that Zaar isn't spamming lots and lots of Imperial warriors. And Deepdfantasy, rather than recapturing this oil derrick, is just attacking it. I don't know why. He thinks that time is very important. This is a very big map and fast units will be very important. That's why you see Deepdfantasy going for airfield, because he feels that time is very important. He needs to get things done very fast. Not healing that oil derrick and not destroy that oil derrick is not being destroyed. Attacking both connectors at the same time, forcing that third collector also not to produce any ore, attacking that airfield with a single Imperial warrior. Even though just that connector has been sniped. What's going on over here? No, it has not been sniped. Continuous pressuring from Zaar. What a good move from Deepdfantasy, just opening these wall segments up and G-microing that MCV on top of that Mecha Tengu. Zaar, what is up his sleeve? He needs that third refinery desperately. He needs that third refinery. He knows that Deepdfantasy is going to camp his way out of this trouble. Just keep going for refineries maybe. Sucker punch Zaar into making mistakes. Map control is with Zaar though, and he's been attacking this airfield for a very long time. Now with the Tesla motor out on the battlefield, it's easy to defend, but he has kept Deepdfantasy low on economy. That has what he has done. Zaar, maybe he's not going for that third refinery up till now. Deepdfantasy is on 3 refineries built. Remember this. Just looking for an opening maybe. See, this is confusing Deepdfantasy. You can see all of his positioning and stuff. That single Imperial warrior did so much confusion and stuff. Map control from Zaar, and now we have like 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 Mecha Tengus out on the battlefield. So just Mecha Tengus, not focusing on anything else, and a buck collector. So basically this seems to be a very difficult situation for Zaar. Now the point defense stones are out on the battlefield, and he's going for those collectors. Remember, one collector is even buck. Not warning, what's happening? Deepdfantasy not focusing. And this Tesla boat will be sniped as well, thanks to the honorable discharge. Moving as close as possible to the wall segments. One collector is not collecting anything. This seems to be a problem with that ore collector bugged out. Somehow he has made it work, Zaar. Still on 2 refineries and trying to snipe that single unit producing structure, except the barracks, trying to snipe it, take it out of the equation. No units are being produced from that airfield at the moment. And also attacking, yes, he has sniped this ore collector. So this Tengu spam is working somehow for Zaar. What's happening over here? Remaking collector. Basically, he's only on one refinery at the moment. One refinery working only. And forcing so low on economy. What's happening over here? Deepdfantasy seems to be in lots and lots of trouble. Another swarm of Mecha Tengus, 5 Mecha Tengus. And now Zaar is focusing on those bullfrogs. He understands and realizes that these anti-air units must be sniped somehow. Getting 1-star status Mecha Tengu as well. Just this one twin blade he has to snipe. Yes. Once it's out of the equation, he will just land those Mecha Tengus. Mistake from Zaar, using those Mecha Tengus in the air. But he doesn't have any unit producing structure except a lone barracks. Deepdfantasy, I'm going to follow it a bit. Yes, Deepdfantasy has thrown in the towel. So game number 1 goes to Zaar. Now let's see game number 2, Infinity Isle. Once again we go back to Infinity Isle. Best of 7 series, last one. We have Zaar, and Deepdfantasy has picked Empire. I don't understand this decision. If he won that previous game with just that Soviets, then why go transition into Empire? This is a very bad move because Zaar is very good at Empire mirrors. And see, standard opening, 2 dojo cores and a dojo core no dojo core inside base of Zaar. Zaar has the ability to beat Deepdfantasy. It's not this, he has won in the earlier rounds in winners bracket, beaten Deepdfantasy, forcing him to go to the losers bracket. has captured his side of the oil derrick. He is on a war factory, and very late war factory from Deepdfantasy. Another dojo core. Just at this moment it seems that Zaar has somehow managed to make sure that the ore collector is not functioning, and he's forcing Deepdfantasy to make some decisions he don't want to make. This is all about Mecha Tengu pressuring. Selling that wall segment and easily no. There are war factories attacking those Mecha Tengus. What is Deepdfantasy doing over here? Pressuring, trying to find an opening, but he should be attacking this oil ore collector, not this other one. Capturing second oil derrick as well. Zaar. Economically, Zaar is in a very good position. He will just bug out this ore collector. Seems to be these three Mecha Tengus are going to try to attack that ore collector. Ore collector is running away. Good micro from Zaar. He has two oil derricks. He has a lot of time. Attacking in groups. This is what Zaar is doing right now. Attacking and attacking in groups. Forcing Deepdfantasy to move his Mecha Tengus away. Going to lose that Mecha Tengu. The Mecha Tengu numbers it's all going to be about the Mecha Tengu numbers now. Because two oil derricks. Even if Zaar loses this ore collector, which it seems might happen. Yes. He is ahead in the Mecha Tengu count and is also on tier 2. Near the war factory, why would you attack the... Yes, but Deepdfantasy should be very careful in this game. He should be careful about the unit count, because already he is behind with losing both of his oil derricks, and he is low on Mecha Tengu count as well. Zaar knows and understands this situation is in his control, this game is in his control, and all he needs to do is just keep collecting ore and camp his way out to a mass number of Mecha Tengus, and even spam a lot of refineries. Even he can do anything, to be honest. Zaar is very smart. He's very smart. Very good decision making. News that Mecha Tengu is low on health, and tsunami tanks out on the battlefield also for Deepdfantasy. Zaar with those Mecha Tengus, he will try to harass. Already half health, so this ore collector seems to be in a very bad position. Zaar technically should use his Mecha Tengus to snipe out this ore collector. Just a VX maybe. No, a tsunami tank. derricks into the mix as well from Deepdfantasy. Why has he ignored those oil derricks? I think Zaar has a lot of money at this moment of time. See, Zaar's economy is in a very good position. Also, one thing to be noted is that Zaar has two power plants as well, giving him optimal power. So if in the situation where Zaar loses his just tsunami tank uppers are up for Zaar as well. There's 4 mecha tanks, he can easily just healing those tsunami tanks, both these players. Trying to snipe that oil derrick, doing something about it. Keeping his units all together, I don't understand, and that one BX is going to snipe his tsunami tank, so this unit count, Zaar is winning on the unit count front. He has 2 oil derricks. Not healing that oil derrick, Zaar. Sniping those tsunami tanks has given him a significant advantage. Pressure situation from Zaar, but Deepdfantasy in the meanwhile has used that attacking game to just crank out a 3rd refinery. Somehow Zaar knows and realizes, okay, it seems to him that he is a bit ahead in the game. He doesn't know that 3rd refinery is out on the battlefield for Deepdfantasy. But remember, Deepdfantasy needs some time on the investment that he has made, on the time that he lost for time to make some units. And now he's going to be welcomed with lots and lots of mechatankus. Is a problem, however. Time, I think with time and with time is not on Zaar's side. He has to figure out a way to just dismantle that that 3rd refinery. Stopping production of that 3rd refinery, using that VX to just lower his health to such a degree that he's gone for a 3rd refinery for himself as well in the sea. Very good micro. VX is in a trouble, but he will use the F micro. No F micro from Deepdfantasy. Unit count, this is what I was talking about. Yes, Zaar's Zaar will win this matchup easily. There is a VX that cannot be contested by those tsunami tanks. Four refineries Zaar is on, and an oil derrick. army over here. He's trying to save his DXs. Time is on against Deepdfantasy. He's facing 3 refineries, working refineries, 4 refineries in fact, and oil derrick. 5th refinery from Zaar. Maybe he can even go for a double war factory and just finish off Deepdfantasy. Sixth refinery, what's happening? Zaar has spammed so many refineries that very bad mistake from Deepdfantasy. Seeing this ore refineries all over the place. Deepdfantasy. So many units. MCV seems to be in lots and lots of bother. Without the point defense stones, I don't think that Deepdfantasy has a chance in this match. And he is facing 6 refineries. Second war factory, this is what I was talking about. Game has been taken down by Zaar. Let's go to game number 3, Cabana Republic. I don't understand technical mistake from Deepdfantasy. Why wouldn't he go for Soviet faction? It's gone for Empire once again. Redefined the opening from Deepdfantasy. Zaar has immediately responded with a dojo core. He has 1 oil derrick as well. Fast mecha tankers out on the battlefield for both oil derricks. Zaar is in a very good position. Why would you take Empire versus Zaar? I don't understand the thinking behind Deepdfantasy. He did Empire Mirrors versus Demon as well, I think. He usually does that. Just Burstone will snipe out this ore collector. Okay, just why did he do this move? I don't understand. I don't understand why Zaar sold his barracks. That could have been a very good pressuring point. Sniping ore collector once again and going attacking, sniping that top refinery ore collector as well. Last ore collector is forced Deepdfantasy to sell his MCV. It's to be a very difficult situation for Deepdfantasy at the moment. Without barracks, he cannot capture these oil derricks, and Zaar is in a position to make that third refinery as well. Christmas 2018 tournament brought to you by GameReplays.org, Red3.org. Grand Finals. Lots and lots of Mechatengus walling his refineries. He's in a pole position right now and moving his MCV to the seaside. Zaar has two oil derricks. No units whatsoever from Deepdfantasy in his main base. Just tsunami tanks. So many Mechatengus for Zaar. Will win this game easily, to be honest. Without the MCV, Deepdfantasy is struggling really a lot. I don't understand why that opening, why not take Soviets. No wall segments because there is no MCV. This easy cookies for Zaar. Cookies, take them, eat those collectors like cookies. Power plant, go for the power plant, Zaar. Finish him off. Just the production, everything. Dent his production just like he does to you. Selling his refinery and losing his Zone 5 refineries. Zaar. He's got nothing over here. using those power plants. It's got 0 refineries. Should quit. Forwarding the game because I don't like time wasters. 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 refineries. This game has been completed, commenced. So congratulations, Zaar, on winning the 1 versus 1 Christmas tournament organized by GameReplays.org. And fourth game was not produced. They didn't provide it in the section, so I won't be including that. It's a shame really, because it should have been included by the players, but still I'll congratulate Zaar on winning this Christmas 2018 tournament played in December, organized by Red3.org. And also I will apologize. You must have noticed in the game that I kept on forwarding it. I'm going to try to fix this issue of lag. It's lagging for me. The delayed production was because of that, but this tournament was very important for me to cast. Please support me. I have some donation links. If you support me, I'll try to buy a AGP Tech capture card to resolve this issue permanently. AGP Tech capture card records gameplay at 30 FPS 1080p and uses USB 3.0 port. So I'll buy that. It's on $70 and I'll fix this issue, but I'll try to resolve issue via other means as well. I don't know, maybe it's the new 1.12.6, 1.12.7, 6, yes, this might be causing the issue. So I hope you liked and enjoyed this cast, but I'm really sorry for not providing the usual production standards that I've set on these channels. It's a new year, and also I have for the second time in this year I have achieved the $100+ threshold on YouTube. I'll be receiving a check of $120, but it's not enough to help me out. If you guys can help me out with donations, it would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. Please leave a like, comment, and share this video with everybody. A lot of casters are moving on to CNC rivals, and more you guys see casters casting Kane's Wrath. Don't force me to go there. I am being bombarded and by the community. They are not supporting me as well, the Red Alert 3 community, and they are just abusing me, calling me out names to me. They are laughing at me, mocking at me, doing I don't understand why, but I think it's a good thing. Hatred for me means traffic, and you can just, if you hate me that much, please dislike the video at least. But this is something I'm doing for all of the community, and engagements will go in a long way to help my YouTube channel, to be honest. Thank you so much. I'll be signing off. Take care.